Uh,
Okay, I think Prof. Frank needs assistance from his teaching assistant, Mr. Mo. So let me take over. Okay, so Prof. Dosia and Prof. Sandy. When we talk of the cash book is part of the books of accounts specifically. It is a day book and also a leisure. I want to believe you remember that your teachers told you that in accounting we have two main books of accounts. That is the day books or the journals and then the leisures. Please, are we okay on that? I want to believe so. So tell me about the journals. What were the journals, and if you can list all of them for me. So I think Prof. Alexia, you do the typing for me. So you can define the journals and then the various journals that you discussed in school. You can list them. While you do that, Prof. Sandra, if you can take us through what the journals or the day books are, and then the various examples of day books. Yeah, Prof. Sandra, I'm waiting for you.
Should I define them or I should mention them?
Okay, so define first and then list them secondly.
Okay, when we say journals, they are the books in which transactions are first entered before they are first entered from the source document before they are processed to the ledgers. Yeah, and they're also called books of accounts. We have the purchases journal, sale journal, return invoice, return outward journal, general journal, cash book, and petty cash book.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So the journals are also type of books of account, like you said. They are called day books or subsidiary books. So I see Prof. Alexia also typing them. We have the sales journal, purchases journal, returning was return out was. And then as you mentioned, the cash book and petty cash book. So today our class will be focusing on the cash book as a journal and also as a ledger. So please note this point down that the cash book is both a ledger and also a journal at the same time. So let me write that down so that you can also. So a cash book is a day book first of all. It is also a journal. Oh, sorry, a ledger. Okay. And it is also an account. Why are we saying that a cash book is a day book, a ledger, and also an account? Let's get ourselves familiar with that before we move on. So building up from the main point, you see, in accounting, we use two main books, journals and ledgers. The journals are the books where you first record the transaction. So like Prof. Sandra said, when you get your source documents, so when you get your receipts, your invoices, you record them in your journals first. Then after that, you post them to the ledgers, which are the secondary books of account. Okay. So the cash book, first of all, serves as a day book and also serves as a ledger. And it is also an account. So let's know why it is a day book. It is a day book because It's used, or it is used to record cash and bank transactions first on daily basis. So it's a daybook because we use it to record transactions on daily basis, and it is the first book tool used to record cash and bank transactions. So that is why it is a daybook. It is a ledger because I want to believe you remember the definition of a ledger. A ledger is a principal book of account that records or keeps account of a business. So all the T account we have been drawing and all the debiting and crediting are done in the ledger. So it's a principal book because that is where we use the double entry principle, debiting and crediting corresponding. So the cash book is a ledger because it also keeps some accounts, and these accounts are cash account and bank account. These are the two accounts that the cash book keeps. Okay. And finally, it is an account because it has a debit side and a credit side. Remember, accounts have debit side and credit side. So the cash book has a debit side and a credit side, hence making it an account. You need to know this for your objective test questions. So note it down, very, very and highly examinable. So amongst all the day books or the books of account, cash book is the one that behaves as a ledger and also as a journal and also as an account. Okay. So please write this down in your notebook and prompt me when you are done. I want to believe you are done writing.
Yes.
Okay, so now let's move on with knowing the cash book proper. So when you are asked of what a cash book is, you can define it as a book of account that is used to record cash and check transactions. So that is what basically a cash book is. It's a book of account used to record cash and check transactions. You can add on with what we have stated earlier, that a cash book is a ledger, it is also a day book, and it is also account, and you add the reasons so you could score more points. But in simple terms, it's a book of account that is used to record cash and check transactions. And as you know, businesses or organizations transact business using either the cash or a check. Now, the check transactions are what we put under the bank transactions. Okay. So, Prof. Frank spoke about the types of cash book. Let's quickly look at that one. Types of cash book. Now we have three main types of cash book. Three. 1, 2, 3, and they throw up. So the first one is called the single column cash book, or sometimes you can refer to it as one column. Either single column or one column cash book. Now you can use the single column to get me the second type of cash book. So who try? If it is not single, then it is what? Prof. Sandra, you want to try? Alexia, you can try in the chat for me. If it is not single, what would it be? Oh, why? My students haven't eaten, Anna. They don't want to talk. Okay. Alexia has something. Okay, double. That is true. So double column. Or you can also call it the two column. The two column. So double or two. In fact, I thought you were going to tell me if it's not single, then it's married. So that we have the married column cash book. But unfortunately, we don't have the married column cash book. It's a two or double column. Then the last one is the three column cash book or triple. So these are the three main types of cash book that we use in financial accounting. Okay, so we have to pick each and every one of them, know what or when they are prepared, and then we'll take some illustrations. We'll take some illustrations and solve as well. So if you are done copying, I want to move to the next slide and look at the single column cash book. Okay, so let's look at the single column cash book, single column. Why the name single column? Frank, can you assist us here? Why do we call it single column cash book and what is it used for? If you can share with us. Well, Frank.
Okay. The single column cash book, which means the layout it has only one cash book and one bank account only.
Okay. Okay. So that is true, but when you are asked to describe a single column cash book, it has the name single column because it is prepared by a business that uses only cash or only check in transacting business. So let me cite an example. If you have gone to the market, you realize that most of our market women, they take only cash. If you take check to them, they will not accept it because they don't transact business. I don't think you go to the market to buy tomato 5 cedis and you want to give the woman a check to go to the bank to withdraw. No, she will not accept it. So that is to make the point that there are some businesses that uses only cash as a means of transacting business. And there are some business too, they don't accept cash or, transact business using check. Am I making sense? For example, most of our loan companies, those companies that gives loans, most of them do not transact business using cash because of the disadvantages of using cash. Sometimes the borrower will go and take the cash and then argue that, oh, I didn't come for the cash. So they prefer using the check because with the check, if you go to the bank to withdraw, the bank has evidence that you came to withdraw by virtue of the bank statement. Okay. So just get it that there are some businesses that uses only cash and they don't use check. And there are others too, they use only check and they don't use cash. So if that is the situation, then that company or organization would use the single column cash book. Single column cash book. Okay. So it is prepared by a business that uses only cash or only check in transacting business. Okay, so dear professors, that's a single column cash book for you. So it has only one column, like Prof. Frank said, for either the cash or bank, and we use the bank if the business is using check in doing its business. So quickly, let's look at the format of the single column cash book. The format of the single column cash book. Please, any question up to this point before we move on? Any question? You don't have any question for me? Okay. So let me quickly draw the format of this single column cash book. Now, when you are writing the title, you don't have to put in single column. You just write cash book, but then the columns you put in there determines whether it is single column or two column or vice versa. So you just write cash book as the title. Then the first column, remember it has a debit side and a credit side, right? So on the left side, which is the debit side, we have column for date, details, and then amount. Now we put amount there because it's a format, right? But in live examples or illustrations, you can replace that amount with either the cash or the bank as prescribed in the question. So that is for the left side or debit side. On the credit side, we repeat same date, details, and then the amount, which is also either cash or bank. So the point I'm saying is that if you are solving an example and then all the transactions are in cash, then in place of the amount you put cash. If it is check, then in place of the amount you put bank. Okay, that is the right thing to do. So this is the format of a single column cash book. Now, when you watch or you look into your textbooks, you see this folio column. Please, a folio column is just a reference column. Okay, you know that the double entry says when you debit, you should do a corresponding credit. So the folio will tell you the page where you can find the corresponding entry. So it's a reference column. Now, for you students, you don't use the folio much, so you can ignore the folio column, but just know it as a reference column just for objectives or multiple choice questions. Okay, so this is our single column cash book. So as it is stated, it has only one column for either the cash or bank. So this is the column to record the amount in cash or in check. Then we have our usual date and details columns as well. Are we good to go? Any question?
No, please.
Okay. Let's move on to the double column cash book. The double column cash book. Should I bring it back so that you copy or you're okay? Okay, so let's move on. Now the double column, as I'm about to go on to the double column, please, this session would end soon. So when it ends, go on to the page and use the second session details to join the class instantly. Okay. So the double column, it is prepared by a business that uses both cash and check transacting business. So you see now, the double column considers both cash and check. So if the business is one that accepts cash and also accepts check or does payment with cash and check, then this organization will prepare the double column cash book. So it has two amount columns, one for cash and the other for bank. Okay, so that's the double column cash book. It is prepared by a business that uses both cash and check in transacting business. So the amount, unlike the single column, which has only one amount column, so it has only one amount column. Let me add the amount. The double column has two amount columns. Okay, one will be for bank and one will be for cash. Okay, so before we draw the format of the two column cash book, please, our time is almost up for the first session. So when it ends, please rejoin. But quickly, we are looking at the cash book, and we said that the cash book is a book of account used to prepare or used to record cash and check transactions. It is a ledger, it is a day book, and it is also an account. And I've given you the reasons why it has these characteristics as a ledger and as a day book and as an account. We just looked at the types of cash book and we said we have three of them: single column, double column, triple column. The single column is used when the business is using only cash or only check. If the business is using both cash and check, we do the double column. So let's rejoin the second session and then we'll look at the format of the double column, look at the triple column, and begin to solve some illustrations. So see you quickly or soon in the next session.